Welcome to the introduction to OpenNebula. Today we are going to discuss the graphical user interface, also known as Sunstone. We are going to review the virtualization technologies and hybrid cloud integrations supported by OpenNebula. We are going to touch on storage, networking, and templating functionality, as well as deploy the multi-VM service. Firstly, let's log into the console. We're going to use the default administrator account, also known as OneAdmin. OpenNebula has a built-in two-factor authentication support. Once logged in, you're going to be redirected to a dashboard that contains 4 shortcuts for easier navigation. The main navigation panel can be found on the left. Please note that we're using Admin View. In Admin View, you can have access to all functionality of the OpenNebula. There are also other views available, and you can easily switch between them using the dedicated button. For example, we can switch to the Cloud view, the simplified view of the Sunstone with a limited access. Each view is built for its own purpose, and as the admin, you can have access to all of them. Later, you can customize the existing ones or build your own if needed. By navigating to the infrastructure hosts, you're going to get the list of your virtualization nodes and their current load. OpenNebula fully supports KVM virtualization and containerization using the LXC. In this example, we are running AWS Edge cluster using the KVM virtualization as well as a couple of QEMU nodes. OpenNebula provides all necessary functionality needed to connect your VMs with network, virtual networks, virtual network templates for easier deployment by the end users, as well as a security groups functionality that enables better control over the VM's inbound and outbound network traffic flow. The variety of industry standards are supported as a network driver for the virtual interface, Bridge, .1q, VXLAN, or OVS integration. Under the Storage Data Store tab, you will find the storages that OpenNebula can use to store the virtual disks, images, and files that can be accessed by the VMs. We support multiple storage technologies, either local to the hypervisor or shared by the standard protocols. Marketplace is a source of ready-to-use images. You can leverage the public ones or create your own private marketplaces using HTTP or S3 protocols. Apps will list the available images from the enabled marketplaces. Images are ready to use and you only need to import them. For example, let's import the Debian 10 image. We're going to store it on a default image data store. And that's how it's easy to download an image from the marketplace. VM templates are ready-to-deploy templates that contain VM configuration such as available CPU or memory. These settings can be adjusted according to your needs. Note that some of these settings can be overridden by the user during the VM deployment. Other adjustable settings include, but not limited to, disks, virtual network interfaces, or contextualization settings that enable your VM to run a predefined set of commands during the deployment. For example, configure database or deploy a web service. Multi-VM deployments, as we call them in OpenNebula, services are there to deploy a complex interconnected application with a single mouse click. You can adjust the service deployment to match your use case. For example, the way how virtual machines are going to be deployed. You can use straight to respect the dependency of one role to another. For example, you don't want your web UI to be deployed before the multiple database VMs, or use none to deploy all VMs at the same time. Your service must be able to handle the load, and you can configure the scalability using the elasticity or scheduled policies. You should go with elasticity to trigger change on some specific parameter change, or go with scheduled policy to deploy more VMs at a certain time period. For example, you will bring more nodes on Friday because you expect your weekends to be very busy. So let's deploy a multi-VM service. You can name the deployed service the way you want, as well as point the amount of services to be deployed at the same time. As soon as command to deploy the service is given, it will be queued for the deployment. You can observe the progress using the web interface. You can see the deployment of each role and each VM within the role. Your service will go through the multiple stages and eventually must show up with a green light. No matter how the VMs are deployed, as a standalone or as a part of the service, you can find them listed under the instances VMs. The state of every virtual machine is clearly visible. Every VM can be expanded for additional information or to perform various actions such as creating a snapshot of a specific disk, or to perform other manipulations, for example, attach a new virtual interface. You can connect directly to the virtual machine using the built-in VNC console. Thank you for watching the quick glimpse of the OpenNebula web interface, also known as Sunstone. Don't forget that OpenNebula is fully open source solution and you can give it a spin very easy using our own Mini1 deployment tool. For other deployment scenarios, feel free to visit our documentation or get in touch with the user base using the community forum.